As I have been telling you all in other videos about my children that got kidnapped, and particularly in this case, let me go ahead and mute this. What's this on? Welcome back, Carter? I think so.
Are you kidding? Half that block is burnt out. It's bad enough you rent those apartments. Now you want to try and kick those poor people out into the street?
See you, young lady.
How can you work for a man like this? You are preventing the people he's kicking out.
Okay, anyway, I ain't gonna bother with it. I'm on the mute. So anyway, so next thing I know, while all this stuff was going on, Kimmora Lee Simmons, at that time she was just Kimmora Lee, and she basically came around and defrauded and played a lot of games. You know what? She was trying to be the sneaky type. She tried to take advantage of situations when I went blind and when I was going through things. And Russell knew that too. I had them met Ron and Ron Woman at that time. They wasn't married, and you know, like I told you all, everybody was always coming through. Kimmora, then she started finding out more and more stuff about me, and she had started bothering Deisha. But what burned me up with Deisha, now Deisha always had bust Kimmora out. Like when she got tired of it, cause Kimmora kept saying, listen, I have never told Kimmora or nobody they can get insurance policies on my kids. I did not give Kimmora, my company, baby fat. I did not invest almost $500,000 into FUBU. This stuff was already mine. This was the thing. The thing is, what happened with FUBU, he was looking to sell and just do this and do that. During the process of the time I had, a robbery had happened to me due to the fact, here we go, Kevin Gates and Draco, P. Diddy, Trinidad James, Jay-Z, Beyonce, this guy named Bo Chow, this woman, this female call herself Cecilia Morrow, they call Cece, and Yvette. You know, and the bottom line is that all these things happen. Kimmora had never been a friend to me. At first, it kind of started off, you know, we was all right with each other. And that's what happened. During the time I'm looking for my baby, all the time she had been having sex with Kevin Gates. Her and Kevin Gates ended up with a large amount of money. All of a sudden, you know that video I got on here when he saying my baby mama got a big old booty. He always used to be saying that to me all the time. And the rest of the song, I had made the verses to let him know, I know what the hell you doing. No, I was not tripping off who Kevin Gates was dating or anything like that. You know, it was the point about my baby. He kept saying he was trying to prove what Kimmora had did, because he said Kimmora had came over there too, her and Snoop Dogg. Now, he said when they ran out the door, Snoop Dogg grabbed my baby and gave my baby to Kimmora and Russell Simmons. If there was Russell, it was Russell or Run. And Russell said the same thing. It was Run. It was Run and the other dude. He said, because next thing I know, I'm fussing, had to cut him and all. I had stabbed, I had cut Russell. I had cut Russell a little bit. Next thing I know, he was pulled up. He wasn't even with them. Kimmora left with somebody else, and she was going over a family member house, and she ended up with Ron and that other dude. Next thing I know, while all this stuff was going on, like I told you, Snoop Dogg was all in it the whole time. Meanwhile, Kevin Gates still didn't care, because Kevin Gates, you was the one snatching my baby from me while I was laying down. And then when I cut you, you weren't saying that. I didn't even realize it was him. I'm thinking it's Dracula, which is the rapper Drake little brother. They come over there. I'm just sitting up here mad that Dracula had them smack them ass where my baby was at, because him and Kevin Gates was about kind of the same size. I ain't got your baby, and that's whoever it was I cut. Next thing I know, Kevin Gates come up.
Roughly translated, if your sweetheart works for you.
All of them was together. It was Dracula, Kevin Gates, Snoop Dogg. Kimmora was with Ron, not Russell, and the other guy that used to be with the DJ. So Next thing I know, Kimmora started lying. She came over there with the girls, telling me the other baby that was my baby and this. I say it is because she kept saying that she didn't. Russell was like, no, she could be her godmother. What are you talking about? You know. And the whole time while Kimmora was plotting, she was trying to get hold to anybody because she thought, okay, she knew about me and Chris Brown. She knew, but Kevin Gates was the main one going around politicking like me and him was a couple this and this, that, and the other. And, you know, making, I mean, he just was, you know. And that's how he ended up fucking with Kimmora. He told the truth. That's what he used to be doing. And Cece and them started to laugh because Cece say, damn. Oh, she just after her. Then everybody started figuring it out. And Yvonne and them was like, damn, I thought that was really your friend out of everybody. You know. Because Yvonne, which is Mimi mama, Mimi and Juwan mama, was like, dog, she just trying to have anybody having sex with anybody you got kids by. The motherfuckers ain't got no damn money. Because she tried to get on Lil Flip too when she thought Lil Flip was some kin to me. Then she was like, oh, I thought he was some kin to you. And then I said, no, I ain't no kin, no Lil Flip. And this, that, and the other. So while all this stuff was going on, I found that that's why Lil Flip was mad. Because he was trying to have sex with Kimmora Lee again. Okay, so all the time while all this stuff was going on, Kimmora, one of the main addicts, is running around with everybody else. D-Shon bullshit with Beyonce and Jay-Z now. She ain't know them from a can of soup no more than I did, and I don't deal with them. Tip and T.I. now running around stealing, causing confusion, got the feds on them and keep lying and lying and start shit. Don't give a fuck about the situation all the time. Shit is going on though, but not what the fuck they were saying. At that time, yes, it was a kidnapping that happened. My baby had got kidnapped. And then even when Tip and them found out I worked for the FBI and the police and everybody told them to stay away and do all this other shit, they eased their way back in thinking I quit being employed by the FBI because they was listening to all those other people. You know, like LeBron James, them, and Kevin Durant, them, thinking this, that, and the other all the time. I was not dealing with none of those individuals. But back to my babies.
Some may have no copays or no deductibles. Call MedicareAdvantage.com. You may not have to wait for the Medicare period. You may be able to get additional coverage.
Kimmora is very much involved in this with Kevin Gates, Snoop Dogg, all of them. Here go Mary and Harris knew something too, and Charmaine, and Big Tyrone, Yashika Cherry. Yeah, she's very much involved. Because when all that stuff was going on, they had told Yashika again. They was telling Yashika to act like she was me, because me and Yashika was kind of about the same thing. Yashika Cherry's about the same size. My booty just big, you know, big and wide. And well, baby, we were the same size though. Basically, just like I said, my rear end was all my butt bigger, you know, and well, just say thicker, you know what I'm saying. And I'm more muscular built, you know, not built like no man, but shapely woman, because I'm athletic and always was, you know, dancing and, you know, sports and all this type stuff and working out. But anyway, but it was her. Future know her, you know. And every time somebody come around, because Future had busted out how she was too, because she came over there one time when I lived on Gady. She came over there, stole some paperwork, a door key. I have never had an abortion in my life. That was one. Her and Juanita locking them around there scheming. They doing this, they doing that. Yes, Juanita Lockett. The one that want to know that man that called himself Danny, live on St. Louis Avenue by J. Hubbard and them or whatever. Lewis was involved in it too, because Lewis used to be having sex with Yashika too. And Lodi know Lewis, the one that called Lewis Lockett. And Lodi was like, he knew Yashika was young anyway. You know, he knew Yashika was 18 years old and all this stuff. They had, all of them had been knowing each other, you know. And that was the whole situation. And then when Juanita called herself moving with us, after that had happened, that's when Yashika started coming around, and coming to find out all of them had already been dealing with each other. And Juanita brought some boy over there talking about his name was Chris. She said that was her little brother. He had a glass eye and the other eye. And he was there when I had my miscarriage in 1987. So after I had my baby in August 80, so I had got pregnant again that November. And but It was after that, but it was like it was 88 when I had the miscarriage, because it was snow on the ground real bad, and her son and Veronica was there, the kids was there, and I was on the phone, matter of fact, the whole time. All of sitting in the living room, the kids playing, and it was Veronica and that little boy, she called her daddy, she said that's her son. Both of them was there, and they was just running around back and forth playing. We watching TV, and I was on the phone the whole time. And then while I was on the phone, Juanita was calling every now and then. She worked at the barbecue stand. And I was like, why you leave and go to work anyway? I said, who you think gonna come to the barbecue stand in this type of weather? I'm talking about, it was a lot of snow on the ground. I'm talking about a lot. You know. But anyway, but these people were well aware of what they were doing. And Kevin Gates' mom had came to me about the situation, because he told her that it was he was baby, and I was like, no. And Terry, she saw me and Terry talking. I was crying, and we was walking back from Faye's confectionery that was right there on St. Louis Avenue, and I was crying. He was hugging me. He was, he was here tears. He was hurt too. That was our baby, and his mama started crying, and Willie got the fussing and started saying what he was saying and about Drake and them and all this other stuff and this, that, and the other. And then his mama said that they had a funeral for a baby. All the time, Nika and Nikki and them asking him for some money, saying that they was in on it and all up arguing and all this type stuff. But they kept saying Vondi did this and Vondi did that. But Vondi had proof where she was at, because Vondi was in jail or something at the St. Clair County Jail at that time, around when that's supposed to exactly happen. And they was checking Vondi's story out, and Vondi went to Bonita, the one they called Bonita for, Bonita, she lived right there on Gay, the one Keisha mama. And at that time, she was dating Glenn Williams. They used to work at Zero Copper out in Sauget, Illinois, like right down the street. And they was trying to say Glenn had my baby, and Glenn was like, what the hell I'm gonna do with the baby? And all this type of stuff was going on. So Glenn started coming back around trying to figure out what's going on, and it was just one thing after another. One thing after another. But Kimmora was wrong. She stole my stuffed baby fat, which I didn't tell her to do. She kept trying to get all this attitude. She tried to steal my house in California. Kimmora, I ain't gave you no motherfucking mansion. What the fuck is wrong with you? Why the fuck would I give you something like that or anything of such amount and say, I will never neglect me and my kids for no friendship? Bitch, no. That's the motherfucking shit I'm talking about. I don't know what she was thinking, because she seen all this stuff going on, and it's just so motherfucking wild, really. I had met her one time before when we used to be riding the trolley up and down in East St. Louis, had the trolley and still had the movie theater downtown East St. Louis. Yes, I had them been up in there. It used to cost a dime to ride the trolley up and down. As far as it went was right there, like on Broadway. It turned around and go right there at the end where the Onyx was at. It's tore down. It used to be like Seidel's store right there, whatever. And it'll turn back around. It just go up and there, up and there. And that's all it would do. And everybody just be on. I got on there because I thought it was really going somewhere. So I only ended up just down the street. And I was like, dog. And Cheryl was like, we could have went and got us some chips or something, Because Cheryl was with me. That's when we were, growing up as kids. And that was the first time I seen her. And then that was just like pretty much it. And then this, because the whole time she had been around the whole time. Okay? But the bottom line is, so that's what it is. That's what it is. Wasn't nobody trying to meet no Beyonce and Jay-Z. Wasn't nobody trying to meet no Tip and T.I. Wasn't nobody trying to meet no P. Diddy. I'm talking about Dame, like I said, but, he had already started his little FUBU line or whatever, but when I bought it from him, he didn't want to give me my money or the company. That's where he fucked up at. Didn't give me a dime, didn't care about nothing. And even he kept acting like he was straightening out stuff and still didn't fucking care. He didn't the whole time he was dealing with Michael Allen too.
That's what I want to do.
Honey, that kind of stuff real school, A.K.A. real school. And you're fucking math and science, I know, because I saw your report cards.
Her grades are passing.
Just bad.
So anyway,
She's got so much
all this is
talent.
true. What I'm telling you, these are the people that's involved. I have 4 children that's missing. 2 I was told was deceased. They told me my daughter was deceased. The hospital, the courts and stuff was looking for her birth certificate, asking where I have her at, and they had to trace down the stuff at the hospital and all this other stuff, and they told me my son, Daenerys LaShawn Williams, was deceased. Meanwhile, Kevin Gates and Kimmora, all of them ended up with some money. Then when my son got around that time too, before my son got kidnapped, they started questioning also LL Cool J and Diddy. Because Diddy was talking about he was going to do a funeral and say his name was Sean John, or just say the last name Johnson or something. And then he got the saying a lot of other stuff. And then LL Cool J woman was crying, talking about the baby this, and she was like, nah, because she came over and gave me a hug, and she asked did I have a baby. But I thought she said she wasn't pregnant herself at all, and she had never been pregnant by LL Cool J at that time, and his mama said the same thing. And his mama was lying, saying she had a baby, just trying to see if anybody came with a baby. That's what she said, quote unquote. And but still, she was still wrong for cashing my check for $2 million that came from my movies. They had no business doing that. And then Joshua Emerson came around trying to get money and do all this other stuff, and it was just one thing to another. Where Kendra Emerson had put herself in it, and it was just all this other stuff. But to the point where it's that Josh was lying and going back and forth, keeping up stuff, talking about certain people was dead and was doing all that stuff. He said he just telling our Anthea that to see why Anthea was going to say, because this other man that was with Josh, it was Mr. Doc, his daddy, and 2 other white guys. And he went out there and showed Mr. Doc, and that's when I first met Mr. Doc. And I had already met Mr. Doc from going down there to Doc Farm, and down there with we used to go down there where they had the chicken farm at, and all me, Zach, and Steve with the crooked teeth, the dated Rihanna, and Boaz. We used to go down there all the time to the forums and all that type stuff. And over there off Highway 15, over there in that area and stuff. But anyway. But that was the situation, and Mr. Doc had talked to our Anthony and gave her, it was $100 and some, and he said, don't you ever do no stuff like that, white. And he got the fussing at her about how she was doing me, and she was like, why you keep trying to hold on to, because Mr. Doc didn't know I was trying to leave, and everybody coming around watching our Anthony was like, that woman got a damn problem. And then Miss Whitten that worked at EAST.ST.LOUIS Housing Authority knew that too. She told our Anthony to get out my house too, because that was mine. I was the one paying the rent and doing all this stuff the whole time. And so when I had left and called myself, they kept telling our Anthony to move, but our Anthony was never the one going down there signing the paperwork the whole time. It was Cheryl. And Miss Whitten said she was going to get Cheryl. Cheryl kept on lying about this, doing all type stuff, causing problems. And, with our Anthony, and they done did a list of things together. Disha's very much responsible. She moved back home before I had my son. She lived with her granddaddy over there by the church before I even got pregnant with my son, Daenerys. She wasn't even living there. For only to her to start coming back around and calling them and Snoop Dogg and them, that was her dealing with all them. Come to find out, she already knew Carla too. Carla Lloyd now. Yeah, and the girl Daisha that hang with Mary used to drive the van from Mount Sinai Baptist Church. They kept saying her mama was Miss Minnie that lived on St. Louis Avenue. Had the brother named Mario. I was part of the motorcycle group Rough Riders. When they called him Rio. She also involved in this too. And Kenneth Boyd Graham. As Kenneth Boyd Graham kept getting mad, telling everybody like it's my fault. And because I wouldn't let him kill his own kids. Because him and Mary and Draco needed some money, and that's their kids, and we shouldn't have called the police. I'm like, I wasn't the only one out there. What the fuck is you talking about? And yes, I did my job accordingly. And then the police had beat up Kenny Bo for that shit because when he found out he went to Keisha Hudson with that, Deborah got mad, which is what we call Keisha Hudson Mama Deborah, and Mr. Extravagant and all of them and that girl China. And Deborah was mad, and Deborah whooped China and the one they called Keisha Hudson and Mr. Extravagant, the stripper, Mr. Red Smith, Reg Davis, his mama whooped both of them. And the police had kicked Kenny Bo ass for that stupid ass shit. And they had told Mary ass up too. Miss Minnie got her. They held Mary down so Miss Minnie can get her and her real mama. So I'm gonna leave that right there. When I went to court, I was blind. It was just so much going on. And the person that was also involved was this young lady that called herself Mashonda Lee. And Mashonda Lee and LaShonda Lee, that's what they was calling themselves. And the last time I seen the other one was in a nursing home in 2015. And she had already lost both of her legs. One of her arms, and she had very little use of her other arm. And while she was there, she'll say little stuff to me, and she'll be like telling me she's sorry, and she kept talking about she was gonna give me my money back. And it didn't dawn on me all this right then, because it was just I was straightening out all my other business. And I'm like, why she keep saying it? And Dwayne was like, I don't know. He said, let me find out what she talking about. And then, you know, Daisha running around there trying to act all tough, and like I told her too, and Tony Walls right there, I said, girl, don't let this motherfucking shit, cause I said, girl, we ain't got no earn opportunity up here. I said, don't play with me, ain't shit changed. The only difference is we sitting up in this nursing home. Don't fucking play with me. Then she had talking about some stuff for her mom. I said, girl, I ain't even on the go through. She say, you know what? Don't start that shit. I'm going to end this right here. But that one that was in the nursing home, she actually was dating Alonzo Matlock. And she kept trying to lie and say that was her and Alonzo Matlock, baby. And she was doing all this other stuff.
Experienced pros who go the extra mile for me.
I'm going to let this sit right
So
there.
help is just a phone call away.
And all of them supposed to have got some money off my baby.
Referrals, coaching, and more. Everything I need to keep living at home. Plus, I choose my own attendant who I can pay up to $10.
And Cheryl supposedly had came up with $10,000 at that time too, that she gave to Ike and Brenda to keep. And Brenda kept asking her where she got that $10,000 from.
And covered by Medicare and Medicaid.
And then she came up with some more money. The one they called Cheryl Former. I don't know her real last name. I don't know the one they called Benita Former last name. They called Benita McMullen. She goes, I don't know Perdisha last name. Really, she comes time she say Former Watson Hunt. Those ain't none of their last names. Told you, all them been around me had been on bullcrap. They knew what they were doing. I don't know Yvette real last name. I don't think I know Will McGuire was her daddy. And they lived on the 1900 block of Lawrence Avenue in the South End. Her baby daddy named Frederick Patterson. You know, she got 3 kids, Veronica, Natasha, and Nicole. And Nicole and Natasha twins. They was born in 1975 in August. I met Yvette like in March or April of 1975. Anyway, it was after March when I met her. I wasn't no baby. That was for sure. I actually was like 4th grade level. And was actually smarter than that for real.
So call now to talk with us and learn more.
That next year, I met them in 1975 when 1976 came. Man, everything I knew how to do started exploding. It was already showing. Oh, we gotta work it out. I was just hoping they made a mistake on my baby, my other 2 kids' death, and I hope they find my other 2. Because where the bodies at? What happened? Why was Frederick Patterson sending people to the graveyards trying to dig up bodies? And where did he get a body from that was already embalmed? And all this other stuff. Frederick Patterson. Why Lynn said that the one that called Lynn Monet Turner Mills as friend with Marion Harris, Fred Harris' wife, that they attended Market Avenue Church as God, the one that was involved in the kidnapping of my children and attempted kidnapping of my other ones. Why did they say that guy that was driving a bus for Metro bus service in Illinois, why she say that was my son, and had other people, Tony, not Tony Wallace, Tony DeBerry, she trying to figure out what's that my son for real, and all this other stuff. These other girls on the bus, they wondering too, because they knew what was going on, but he ain't never said. I saw the boy 2 times. But he said he don't think so, because he know Lynn too. They know Tangy now. All them too.